Downtown St. Louis, I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out. St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
Good morning, friends. It is November. We are closer and closer to the holidays, at least some of them. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, 314-436-7900. Join us, talk to us, text us, and call us. You can leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, if you're looking for the app in your Google store, or what's the other one? Apple App Store. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
I don't do these Apple things. So you can do that and send us voice messages. You can also watch the show if you want to on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We are on Twitter at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everyone will be talking about.
Back-to-back World Series titles for the Los Angeles Dodgers as the offseason is currently underway in Major League Baseball. All eyes here on the Cardinals.
And what's not underway is the government, as the shutdown is poised to become the longest ever. That also means no SNAP benefits for the month of November.
Speaking of baseball, Mason Wynn won the Gold Glove over the weekend. In fact, that was announced yesterday evening. And the Blues, they have lost 7 in a row.
2-pitch. Bounces one up the middle. Bats to the back. Over to first to beat the champ. You gotta knock him out. The Dodgers stand tall and win back-to-back titles.
Highlight on Fox, that's Joe Davis with the call. The Dodgers a double play to end it. Game 7 in extra innings. And yes, the Dodgers they're not technically the evil empire. That was the Yankees for a long time. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers with the biggest payroll in baseball. They go ahead and win the World Series back-to-back. It's very difficult to do that. It rarely happens in baseball, and so it has happened here. And now the fight starts. Well, we're going to have a baseball season coming up here in 2026, but it is very likely that 2027, either we don't have a season, we have an abbreviated one, because that's the reality, and that's where we're going. And a lot of it will have to do with the Dodgers winning again and owners using that as a pretext to say, look, we can't compete with teams like this. We have to have a salary cap.
Well, people say,
here we are.
They say the Dodgers are ruining baseball. I think Japan. Maybe it's just Japan is ruining baseball.
Why? Because of Shohei?
Because of Shohei and Yamamoto and Sasaki. Unbelievable. Is Yamamoto the best pitcher in baseball, hands down, right now?
No.
No?
No, I wouldn't say he's the best. I mean, he's pretty good.
You wouldn't
a lot of really
say
good pitchers in baseball. And I know that people are going to say that was one of the best World Series performances.
Yes.
I feel like we're doing a little prisoner of the moment thing right now because all these stories have been written about how this was the best World Series of all time.
A lot of records were broken. It was a lot of firsts, and it's hard to have any firsts in baseball, much less that many firsts. Because I would say, at least for me, it was the most fun I've ever had watching a non-Cardinals World Series. I feel like it was the best World Series ever. And there were people that I respect in the baseball world, very experienced, who also were throwing out there, is this the best World Series
I think it's okay
ever?
to ask the question, but I do think we're doing a little prisoner of the moment thing because we're talking about Yamamoto's individual performance and he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we forgot about Madison Bumgarner, what he did in 2015 or 2014. That dude was unbelievable for the Giants in the World Series. So it's like we forgot that. The 2001 World Series was awesome. The Yankees and Diamondbacks. 2016 was pretty good. Even if you hate the Cubs, you have to acknowledge that was a really good World Series. 2011 for us, even though Game 7 was kind of Game 6 was in itself so good that it elevated the entire series.
Sure. Okay, I don't have Baumgartner's numbers, and maybe you do. But for Yamamoto, just as a reminder, World Series Game 2, 9 innings pitched. So complete game, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. You got the win. World Series Game 6, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, and a win. And the very next day, after throwing 96 pitches on Friday, the very next day on Saturday, Game 7, 2.5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 1 strikeout, and the win. To throw 34 pitches to close out the World Series, including a World Series clinching double play the night after throwing 96 pitches, that's one heck of a performance. And I mean, Game 2, Game 6, Game 7.
Yeah.
It was so fun to watch.
It is. But Madison Bumgarner threw 7 innings, 9 innings, and 5 innings, all in a World Series, and gave up a total of a run. That's a run. He gave up 1 run against Kansas City in that series. He was awesome. And Yamamoto, no question, really good. But what Mad Bum did, it's like we forgot, or maybe people weren't alive for it or missed it.
What year?
2014.
2014. People were alive for it. I was alive.
You were alive for it?
Were you alive?
No, Matt's only 15. And so, he was alive. He just couldn't remember.
I feel like most people making big statements about this World Series were alive. But at any rate, it was so.
It was a lot. I
much
mean,
fun.
no question, a lot of fun.
Such a great World Series.
Something like 9 game-changing plays in Game 7, which is a lot. So, I mean, the game in itself, Game 7, pretty darn good. That's an all-timer. That game is an all-timer. I think I'd be careful about calling it the absolute best World Series we've ever seen. It was pretty good. And I hope now that we don't do this thing, even though I know we're going to, where people use this World Series and use the Dodgers as an example of why there has to be a salary cap in baseball when there doesn't need to be one. And we talked about this on Friday, Gas House Gang with Kevin Wheeler and Mike Claiborne and me. And we were talking about revenue sharing being maybe a bigger problem, that these teams around baseball, I mean, you've got the Dodgers who have all these resources, and the Yankees have a ton, and the Mets have a ton of resources, and they can spend and spend and spend, and that's good for them. There are a lot of teams who can't spend and spend and spend. Then maybe what they need is something closer to what the NFL does, where there's an actual pool of money, and that money is shared, which is why you have teams like the Green Bay Packers who are always good. Also, they've hit on quarterbacks, but you've got this small market team that is always able to be competitive. And when they are considered a World Series favorite at the start of or a Super Bowl favorite at the start of the season, it's not crazy to think that.
So when the Dodgers won Game 7, they brought in 4 starters as relievers. Mm-hmm. They brought in all their starters because it's Game 7.
All hands on deck,
all
man.
Hands on deck. So in their 4 starters, they brought in $1.2 billion of payroll.
Yeah, it's a lot of payroll.
That's a lot of payroll. I mean, that's a whole lot of payroll. And listen, I don't have a horse in this race in the sense that I don't feel passionately about it because I thought the World Series was fun, and I don't have the emotional.
It was super fun.
I don't have the emotional bandwidth to be upset about things like this. So, but I mean, you do have to acknowledge that the Dodgers did spend an extraordinary amount of money to bring $1.2 billion worth of quote unquote relief pitching in Game 7. And it's not like the Toronto Blue Jays were scrimping on their salary.
Their top five
payroll. So, like you said, you want to spend money. Devil's advocate, does it concern you that a team like the Dodgers, let's say if 1 or 2 teams can all of a sudden spend $800 million, that the Toronto Blue Jays, who are still spending a lot of money, their top 5 wouldn't be able to keep up. So I'm not arguing that owners shouldn't spend. I'm saying I agree with you. The thing is there a chance that there's going to be a team like the Dodgers that just starts spending enormous amounts of money? So even if you're top 3 or top 5, you can't compete.
My greater concern is with teams on the lower end who just refuse to do it, like Pittsburgh. The Pirates are a great example of this, where you have this organization that if they wanted to, they could, when Paul Skeens, who's a pitching phenom, one of the best in the game right now, if he were to become a free agent tomorrow, they could, if they wanted to, sign him and give him real money. They want to. They just don't want to. The owner of that team, Bob Nutting, doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't want to spend the money. He never does. He doesn't spend the revenue sharing money they do get. And they always have an underwhelming team as a result. That to me is a greater concern. I don't think I would. If baseball does go to a cap, fine. I'll get used to it. I'll get used to there being a cap in baseball. They're just, first of all, it's never going to happen.
What if it's
I can't see it.
$500 million, which is more than the Dodgers spent?
Well, I mean, in that case, it would be pretty much not a cap.
But that's what I mean, though, is there a chance? A cap at $500 million, wouldn't that protect against what I'm saying is that one or two teams would run away so far that a top 5 team couldn't compete?
Revenue sharing would do it better than just telling the teams at the top, hey, sorry, you can't spend all the money that you make. You can't do it. Because my concern is that baseball continues to go down a path where the players get a smaller percentage of the revenue than in a lot of the other sports. And baseball continues to make more and more money every single year.
So you're saying that would
money
help,
goes up.
For instance, like the Royals
Yeah,
compete? Because even
Kansas
the Cardinals
City, Pittsburgh.
spend, but the Cardinals could never revenue-wise, I don't think, or maybe the Cardinals is a bad
No, they don't make
example.
what the Dodgers
They
make.
can't make what the Dodgers
Right.
make. And a smaller town like the Milwaukee Brewers could never pull in what the Yankees and Dodgers make. So you're saying that the way the revenue sharing would be structured is that it would not render those teams irrelevant, because without a cap, they could eventually become irrelevant. Because it's just not going to work. Milwaukee isn't LA.
Unless they artificially made that cap so low that what would end up happening is they don't end up spending that money on payroll.
Mhm.
So you get teams like the Dodgers and the Mets and all these others who are trying to compete and say, wow, this is great. We don't have to spend more money. We don't have to because we can't. Sorry, guys, we can't do it. We have a cap now. And then that money doesn't go back into the players. That would be my big concern.
All right. Before we break here, I do want to get to a controversy, because guess who's in town? The Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. And during Game 7 at the Edmonton Oilers game, Ranj, they had on the Jumbotron during play Game 7 of the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Dodgers. And that doesn't happen in hockey. It's not like the NBA where there's music playing. In hockey games, there's no music, and you have the play on the Jumbotron. And so the crowd was cheering and booing and oohing and eyeing about the game. The baseball game had nothing to do with the hockey game playing, and Connor McDavid was not thrilled with it.
That was really, really strange. Obviously, we're all on the Jays bandwagon, and everybody's wanting them to win, and it's so disappointing, obviously. But strange to have it on during the game. Listen to the crowd. Was distracting for sure. I'm glad they shut it off there for the third.
When they're showing it, not only showing it, but they're showing it with sound during the TV timeouts as well.
Yeah,
that's
it was bizarre. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. I found myself watching the Jays game, sitting on the bench. Listening to the crowd while I'm on the ice. What just happened. It was very strange. But you know what? Historic moment. Couldn't be more gutted for those guys.
So a little bit, what do you make of that? Are you surprised? Some fans were saying that they were at the Edmonton Oilers game and it was fun and Connor McDavid should be in the spirit. Connor McDavid obviously saying it was kind of weird.
I
I've
kind
never
of agree with him.
experienced anything like that before,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to still wrap my brain around
Well, usually
it.
what happens, if there's anything like that, it's
They show a big play during a break in the game.
or if people who are in the suites have the
Mhm.
opportunity to watch a different game than the one that's going on. And sometimes you'll hear them react, but it's very unusual for it to be on the screen
Yeah.
during play because that's what was going on. The puck was on the ice
Yes.
and they were skating. And at one moment, the crowd erupted because they thought it was over
They
and the Blue
thought-
Jays
yeah.
had won.
hmm
And then even the announcers who were calling the hockey game said the Blue Jays have won the World Series.
Behind the Blue Jays have just won the World Series. Or no, they're calling them out at home.
I mean, ugh.
That's not great. See, I don't think that you should have it on the big screen in the middle of play.
I
Because
kind
if
of
you want to
agree.
be at the baseball game or watch the baseball game, stay home and watch the baseball game or go to a bar. If you want to be at a hockey game, you're at a hockey game, watch the hockey game.
Right. If you're in a suite, fine, watch the game. But I
Sure.
agree. You're at the hockey game. You made that decision. And I can see how Connor McDavid was just a little distracted / irritated by the whole thing.
On Friday, John Hancock told us a story about a family friend of his who is in danger of being deported, and it's a really sad story. We're going to get an update from John, but we want you to hear a little of what he had to say on Friday. John's going to join the show at 10 o'clock today, and will give us an update from the family on that. But we'll tell you more about what is happening. That's coming up next on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive.
These programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hi, this is Ron Jacobra. 100 years. That's how many years KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis. Congratulations to the Mighty Mocs.
On Friday, we had John Hancock and Michael Kelly in studio, and John told us just a heartbreaking story about a family friend who is a husband and is a father and has been friends with, I think, his family for years. And he was arrested by ICE. And ICE is showing up in unmarked cars, wearing masks, arresting people. Now, this man has a driver's license. He has a social security number. He's been here 10, 15 years, had a lawyer help him get through the immigration process. Apparently, it was a scammy, shoddy lawyer who maybe didn't do some of the paperwork correctly, even though he thought it was on the up and up. It was $15,000 to go through this process.
Told him he was all good, too.
Told him he was all good. And I know John we're going to play some of what John said on Friday, because John Hancock will be coming in studio in 30 minutes at 10 o'clock to give us an update. It's not a good one, Ron. It's a heartbreaking update.
A friend of the family married. He was Mexican. And they've got 2 young kids, 3 and about 8 months old, very much like the same age as my grandkids. In fact, Tula and the little girl are in dance class together. And so he was followed from his home to his work, gainfully employed, great guy, 33 years old, and arrested by ICE, incarcerated, and he's in the process now of being deported, and had lived in the country for over 10 years, thought he had gotten legal status. They paid a lawyer in Texas $15,000, and the lawyer told him that this takes care of it. He got a social security card,
driver's license.
And, no violations of the law. He's a faithful husband and father, gainfully employed. He's a breadwinner. And now he's gone.
And the update over the weekend is that this man is in a maximum security prison awaiting deportation. Not only is in a maximum security prison, he is sharing a cell with 3 hardened criminals. And his wife has to drive to this maximum security prison to tell him he has to sign the deportation order. There's no recourse for them. There's no due process for them. There are no alternatives for them. And not only that, but before he is deported and removed from this maximum security prison, he'll be transferred to a deportation center. And by the way, members of Congress have been barred from inspecting these deportation centers.
Of course they have.
So now this woman could be me, grew up in Chesterfield, grew up in Wildwood. You've got a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old. Now she's thinking, I'm going to lose my husband. And if they're lucky, he's brought to a place in Mexico where he can get to his family. If they're lucky. So she is already thinking, do I pack up? I don't want to lose my husband. I don't want my babies to lose their dad. So now do we pack up and move to Mexico? Leave her home, leave her family, leave his home and everything that he's built here. Because of the cruelty and the ham-fisted way in which the administration is going about deporting people. They told us it would only be the worst.
Worst of the worst.
of the worst.
That's what they told us.
And now they are deporting, as John said, a faithful husband and father, a breadwinner, someone who thought he was here legally, who spent $15,000 to have a lawyer walk him through the immigration process, which, by the way, my friends who have become citizens, same story in the sense that it costs so much money to
and
make sure you're doing it correctly.
Yes.
And they've been helped. How would he know that this lawyer was scamming him? He has a driver's license and a social security number.
If you get a lawyer, you trust the lawyer is doing it because you don't understand how to navigate the law. And that's all of us.
Yeah.
None of us know how to navigate the law.
But the thing is, Ron,
so that's why you get a lawyer. That's why you get an attorney.
If you paid $15,000 for a lawyer and you got your social security number and your driver's license, wouldn't you assume he did it correctly?
That's exactly
now,
right.
If he ran away
Yeah.
with the money, sure, it's a scam. He ran away. But the fact that the government issued all your documents, you would assume that it was done correctly.
And I feel like there are far too many people, and my God, I hope I'm wrong, but it just feels like there are far too many people who are like, yeah, get them, get these people out of here. I hope you're not like that.
Oh,
I mean, if that's
Raj, we do. We have a texter last Friday who said, Well, that's what do you call it? Collateral damage.
Oh,
That's just what happens.
Just and that is an
so
insane.
cruel.
It's insane. It's an insane thought process if that's how you see this.
The whole
because
reason
you have people in your life, and I guarantee you, if you've been outside of your bubble at all, you probably do know somebody who might be undocumented who came here years ago trying to find a better life, and they've done nothing but contribute to society, start a business, work at a business, work hard while they are here, start a family, maybe meet somebody from here and start a family with them like this person did, like John's friend did. Why do you want to deport them? Why? And you hear the president say, well, we have to get these people out. Why? Why does he have to go? Why?
Listen,
What did he do wrong?
And you can't throw out the collateral damage. Do you know why? It's because our criminal justice system is set up the way it is, and due process is set up the way it is, with an extreme burden of proof that you're not proving your innocence, is that you have to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt.
That's
you don't have
for
to
all of
prove
us.
innocence.
Yeah.
You prove guilt. Why? Because our country, our founders, our leaders have understood for decades that it is better that 10 guilty people go free than one innocent person be imprisoned. That's just the way it is.
We are going to talk to John Hancock. He'll be in studio just after the 10 o'clock news, and he will give us his thoughts on this, get the update from him. Also, we'll talk a little sports with Matt Pauley. It was an eventful weekend. He is at 10:30 today, as I mentioned. But December 1st, it is happening. Missouri, get ready. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming, and new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. There's also live betting. You can get in on the action after the game has already started, and do it all on the FanDuel app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more there. Again, FanDuel goes live in Missouri December 1st. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the Zoo to Enterprise Center, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang for the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz. 4 of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 AM. KMOX.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 53 degrees. Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 63. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy with a low of 40.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. So happy to be back. E3, the 3 E stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes we refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them, because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business, reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Ron, I don't know if you are still on the sheriff's bandwagon. Yes, no?
Why would I leave my man?
Well, he's in jail.
I do not leave anyone behind.
Well, I've got another guy for you to put on the bandwagon.
Okay.
Riverview, the city of Riverview.
Yeah.
Riverview.
I know Riverview.
A piece in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch says, Riverview's mayor rules with secret meetings, retaliation, and a gun on his hip.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently, over 3 years, he has held secret meetings in his office where officials have agreed to raise his pay. And also in one of these secret meetings, the officials agreed to set aside a police SUV for his use. Remember, he's not a policeman. He's the mayor. He regularly orders police around as if he were the chief, according to officers and former police chiefs. And he has used the powers of his office to bully critics, shut down meetings, arrest a political rival, and close stores at will.
So he can do that?
It feels a little sheriffy.
Well,
I don't think he can. I don't believe closing stores is under his purview. I don't believe becoming mayor grants you the same prerogatives as being the police chief.
Here's what I would like to know. When you run for office, whether it's running for sheriff, running for mayor, running for president, if you win or before you win, is there like an orientation where somebody pulls you aside and says, okay, here's what you can do.
Yeah.
These are a list of things you cannot do. Okay.
What if it's test though, where it's like, what if they don't tell you? You take a test where
you should have to study for it.
Could you, as a mayor, you walk into the gas station and flash a gun and tell them to close the store? Mm-hmm. Is this an appropriate use of your powers?
I think, you know how if I ever lose this job, which is very possible.
It's high. Every day it becomes,
so
higher possibility probably.
How I've always wanted to be an actor in the training videos.
Well, specifically
the sexual harassment.
That's right.
Videos.
And he doesn't care if he's the harasser or the victim.
Or the harassed. It doesn't matter to me.
The harasser or the harassed. He just wants to be in a sexual harassment video.
I just want to be in the sexual harassment video. Yeah. I want you to be watching one day at your corporate office and you see it and go, oh, wait, is that Ranji? That's what I want.
Well, so there's a chance it's going to happen. Here's a little more update just for a fuller picture.
The reason I say this is because why don't we have these new mayors or new sheriffs or whatever you are sit through the training videos like we have to sit through?
Great question.
If you work in corporate America, you have to sit through training videos of all different kinds. Here are things you can't do and cannot do.
Right.
Here's the harassment stuff that you can and cannot do. And the answer is none of it. You can't do any of the harassing stuff. You can't take payola. There are all these videos that we have to watch. If you're going to become an important part of the city government or national government, why should you not have to go through multiple training videos like the rest of us?
I think it's an excellent question. It might be one of the best points you've ever made. Again, as I mentioned, this mayor has been the mayor for 3 years now in Riverview. And over those 3 years, at least 30 city employees and elected officials have left Riverview citing the mayor's behavior. So they've left and said it is because of the mayor's behavior. Okay. In that last year alone, he's had 6 lawsuits filed against him, accusing him of misconduct.
6?
6 in the last year. Residents in Riverview, I just got to read this word for word, quote, know him for driving through town in an unmarked police SUV, wearing the armored vest, carrying a gun, and displaying a gold badge that says mayor.
I love that.
It's like in Blazing Saddles, the governor who wears the jacket that says Gov.
I love this guy.
Mel Brooks.
Wow. Mike Cornell. I have a new cause, and his name is Riverview Mayor Mike Cornell.
Eddie Simmons, a Riverview police chief in 2023, who quit after 1 month on the job, said he pulls up in a police car with a badge on and the vest on and everything like he's the police. Somebody who doesn't know who he is would see him and think that he is an officer.
Wow. That's it. We're starting a new campaign. Hands off my mayor.
Cornell, 39 years old, the mayor, he did not return phone calls, emails, or texts requesting an interview.
We will be reaching out. Mary is a Riverview resident and is joining the show.
Mary,
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning.
So what do you think, Mary?
Well, all this is true, and one of my concerns, all of that is true. One of my concerns, though, was when he was elected to be the head of the board of directors or board of trustees or whatever. Okay, and that job was a stipend type job. I don't know how much they made, but it was enough to cover their costs. We'll say maybe $1,000 a month. I really don't know. Somehow in there, he appointed himself mayor.
What?
And then after appointing himself mayor, he somehow gave himself a full-time mayor's salary. And there are very few municipalities that have actual full-time mayors, especially, there shouldn't be one when there's only a town of 2,000 people.
Yeah.
Somehow we went from being what was called a village to a city. And I mean, I don't know who voted on this stuff, but somebody apparently did.
Well, maybe this is an argument, and thank you,
Mary,
Mary,
that's a
for
great point.
We have too many municipalities.
Yeah,
we just have way too many.
That's a really good point because she brings up the point about it being a village, right? How he appointed himself
Well, it does
mayor.
take a village to appoint a mayor.
Well, Cornell only moved to Riverview 6 years ago. So he's been mayor for half the time.
Yeah.
He moved there 6 years ago. He had little connection to the village. He attended elementary school in St. Louis, but his dad brought him to Annapolis, which is a rural town in the Ozarks, after Cornell got caught skipping school in St. Louis. Cornell Sr., his dad said he's always had an attitude problem. He's too headstrong. You can't talk to him. You can't tell him anything. He tried to become a police officer several years ago and completed a year-long law enforcement certification process at Mineral Area College in Park Hills. That's about an hour south of St. Louis. However, he was too young to get his police license. He then enrolled in St. Louis Police Academy in 2007, but was terminated after 4 months, quote, for action detrimental to the duties as a recruit in training. He ran into legal trouble. He was suspended from another job. Somehow this guy appointed himself mayor, which I'm not going to lie, he's a horrible person, it sounds like, but a little bit resourceful. I would not know how to manipulate a situation to become mayor.
First of all, I don't know if he's a horrible person. There might be something wrong with him, but I don't know if he's horrible. I will say this, though, as long as he does not start firing wildly into a crowd like Bert did on It's a Wonderful Life, you know what? I'm okay with this guy. I'm okay with this. You just let the man cook.
How did he, like I said, I don't like his actions. It sounds like, his family members saying he's got issues and always had issues. And it sounds like he has issues. I will say a little bit of credit for figuring out how to appoint yourself mayor. I wouldn't know how to do that.
Not bad.
If you said, Amy, I'll pay you $1 million to somehow become mayor of one of these towns, I wouldn't know where to start.
Hey, figure out how to appoint yourself mayor, figure out how to run for a third term, whatever you got to do.
Okay.
Whatever you have to do to go against the Green.
Okay. And I will say this is unrelated, but kind of related because we talk about, if you don't laugh, you'll cry with the sheriff, Alfred Montgomery. It's an embarrassment. It's embarrassing. It's the city of St. Louis. You look at it and you think we're a joke. This whole Riverview mayor situation is so bizarre. Also, I'm just so used to stories of incompetence and absurdity that I kind of take it for granted now. Like, oh yeah, that's just St. Louis. So I guess my cynicism has reached a new level because I got an alert from the Wall Street Journal this weekend. And it's, how they have their stories. And so they give you the lead. Here's the lead. The electricity may or may not come back. And the pothole is now the size of a jacuzzi. This is what it looks like when a city gives up. And I thought, oh my gosh, it happened again. What do you think my fear was?
That you're going to fall into a sinkhole.
No, that the Wall Street Journal wrote another hit piece on us.
Oh.
About what a terrible city we are.
Was it the New York Times or was it the Journal?
I thought it was the Wall Street Journal. Could be wrong, either way, a major newspaper outlet. Again, I thought it was the Wall Street Journal talking about a dying city.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like when a city gives up. A pothole the size of a jacuzzi. And it goes on. Instead of providing basic public services, the government just warns residents not to expect them. Your signs tell you when you're most likely to fall victim of a crime at highway exits and intersections like hijacking hotspot or smash and grab hotspot. Homeless people routinely direct traffic when stoplights don't work. And I thought, oh my gosh. The Wall Street Journal is showing what a shame we are. It actually was not. It was Johannesburg, South Africa. But that was my fear. This is a story about Johannesburg and South Africa, which actually surprises me. I had some friends who went there, had a great time. But, about this is what it looks like when a city gives up. They didn't
see the pothole?
I guess they didn't. I thought it was us. I thought they were talking about us.
Well, maybe that should say something about how we talk about our city.
It does.
Maybe we should stop talking about our city
but
like it's the worst place on earth.
You can't stop talking about the hole on Washington Avenue that's been there for 10 years?
Not quite, but it has been there for a long time. But here's the thing about potholes. Like when we did our things that are most St. Louis tournament and we put potholes on it, we probably shouldn't have because that's every city complains about potholes.
We've got
every single city complains about potholes. I don't know. Depends on where the hole is. That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. Did you see this is coming up when we have the 10 o'clock hour arrive? John Hancock is going to be here, and he is going to tell us about his family friend who is in danger of being deported, somebody who has done nothing wrong and is on the verge of that. We'll talk to John about that coming up at 10 o'clock on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This November, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Benjamin Britten's War Requiem, a powerful, haunting piece that reflects on war and peace across generations. Led by music director Stéphane Denève, the SLSO and St. Louis Symphony Chorus are joined by world-renowned vocalists and the St. Louis Children's Choirs. November 7th and 9th. Tickets at slso.org.
This is Justin Brown with Krinz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. As retirement approaches, one question matters most. How will you replace your paycheck? With decades of experience, we've helped retirees turn uncertainty into clarity through personalized income planning and steady guidance. Our proactive strategies are designed so you can enjoy the retirement you worked your lifetime for, with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is our broker-dealer.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with KMOX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss it down, listen to the Chiefs on KMOX or KMOX on the Odyssey app. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-1313. 800-791-1313.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year. But any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is, in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable, and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months, and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, Ranj, I don't know if you watched the Jacksonville game, but Jacksonville Jaguars kicker Cam Little, before the game, I should say before the season back in August, he teased that he had a leg strong enough to break an NFL record, and he did it yesterday. He kicked a 68-yard field goal in the second quarter against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now it's a domed stadium, but he broke the record by 2 yards. The previous record was a 66-yard kick by Baltimore's Justin Tucker that had been on the record book since 2021. 68-yard field goal.
It's a little much.
That's a lot.
You know what? I like football. I don't want to see 68-yard field goals.
You think they should cap it at 60? Cap it at 50?
I want teams to have to run an offense. Do an offense. Do something fun.
So he did in that preseason game, and back in August, he did kick a 70-yard field goal, but it didn't count because it was a preseason game. But he has kicked a 70-yard field goal before.
Amy, rest in peace to Dwayne Roberts, who died at the age of 88. He was a businessman from California, and he is credited with inventing. Want to take a guess?
Yes. A businessman in California, Dwayne Roberts, was credited.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, it's taking too long.
With inventing the Notebook.
No, he invented the frozen burrito. Everybody loves a good frozen burrito. And he passed away over the weekend at 19 years old. He started working at a place called Butcher Boy Food Products. Mm-hmm. And he saw the potential of quick meals that you could, get ready to eat. In 1956, he invented the first frozen burrito.
Yeah.
Which transformed the frozen food industry, and it became a staple of grocery store aisles around the country.
Quick note here, or I guess question for you. How do you feel about the frozen burrito?
I do not mind it at all. There are some frozen burritos pretty good.
They're really good, but are they always soggy, or is that me?
Yeah. I mean, they are, but burritos aren't supposed to be.
Well,
you can grill them and you can make them crunchy.
Yeah,
but...
I either make them at home crunchy or even from Qdoba, the tortillas fresh. The frozen burrito is always a little soggy.
Here, I'm going to tell you something that's kind of gross.
Oh my gosh.
And we were talking about the thing that's a little Hoosier that you might do.
Yeah.
Months ago. I kind of like the gas station burritos that you have to warm up in the microwave. Kind of like them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've not had. I've had the taquitos that are on the rollers.
Yeah, like at a Quick Trip.
Yeah, but I've never had a gas station burrito.
No, gas station. It's in the wrapper. You have to put it in the microwave for 60 seconds or whatever, face down.
Huh.
Whatever they tell you to do.
I have to try that.
I think they're kind of not bad.
I love burritos.
They're awful for you, but they taste pretty good.
I bet they do. Quick question: did anybody see the New York City Marathon? No, you didn't.
No,
because it was on ESPN. Which is Disney, and I have YouTube. So I woke up Sunday morning, I make my cup of coffee, and I'm scrolling through the YouTube channels thinking, wait, I know the marathon's on. And then I realized, nope, it's on ESPN2, and I have YouTube. So ESPN, ESPN2,
Disney,
ABC, Nat Geo, none of that is showing up on my YouTube TV. And I think it's frustrating because Google owns YouTube and Disney, and we all know that Google and Disney are struggling. They need every dollar right now.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about this on Friday when YouTube TV announced they were dropping those networks, and they're hoping for not very long that they'll come back. And we said it's getting old.
Yep.
All these contentious contract stuff that they have to go negotiate and they can't get a deal done. It's getting really old. I take that back. It is old. It's old. I'm over it. I am so tired of YouTube TV or Direct TV or whatever saying, "Oh, we can't work out a deal with ESPN, so no ESPN channels."
Don't worry. If you have Disney, you still couldn't watch it because you'd have to upgrade $40 a month to upgrade your Disney to Disney Plus to get ESPN.
Pass. Hour 2 of the show is coming up, and when we come back, we are going to talk to John Hancock, whose family friend is on the verge of being deported. It is a really sad situation. A guy who's done nothing wrong and is in a very bad spot. And John has an update for us. He'll bring that when we come back on KMOX.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
It is 10 o'clock, sunshine, 53 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Services are taking place this morning for family members of Illinois gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey. A helicopter crash in Montana, October 22nd, took the life of Bailey's son, daughter-in-law, and 2 grandchildren. Another grandson was not aboard. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Zach Bailey, a commercial pilot, was flying the helicopter to attend a conference. The government shutdown poised to become the longest ever this week as the impasse between Democrats and Republicans has dragged into a new month. New York City's mayoral candidates are set to make a final push to get voters to the polls as the race to lead America's biggest city nears its finale. The world's leading authority on hunger crises says famine has spread to 2 regions in war-torn Sudan, killing hundreds of people. Sudan has been torn apart since April 2023 by a power struggle between the military and the paramilitary rapid support forces. The UN says more than 40,000 people have been killed, but aid groups say the true number could be much higher. The owner of Bar PM finally had charges against him dropped 2 years after police crashed their SUV into his business, then charged him with misdemeanor assault when he confronted them. A judge dismissed charges after deciding police didn't hand over all evidence during discovery. So the criminal case is over, but a civil case against the police department continues, according to attorney Javad Ghazali.
Our civil case has always been strong. Our civil case has always been to hold the police accountable. And this is just one more piece of evidence that shows that my guys were targeted.
KMOX's Amy Marks-Kors says being named the 2025 Salvation Army Red Kettle campaign chair for the greater St. Louis region is an honor and privilege.
The Salvation Army has been such a big part of my life since I was a little kid. My brother would call the Salvation Army volunteer the God bless you man, because he would always, you put the money in and the God bless you man would say, God bless you. And I love that the Salvation Army is so local.
This year's Red Kettle campaign kickoff is set for Saturday, November 22nd. That's also when the big tree lighting ceremony takes place in Keener Plaza. Ameren is a presenting sponsor this year. From the business desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, a local food packaging company is being sold to Georgia Pacific, and the family retaining a significant minority position is set for a big payday. According to the Business Journal, Anchor is being sold to Atlanta-based giant Georgia Pacific for $1.3 billion. The Herman family of St. Louis, who sold the company to a private equity firm 6 years ago, retained about 30% and a seat on the board. St. Louis is on the list for AC/DC's 2026 Power Up Tour. The legendary Australian band will play the Dome at America's Center on September 8th, but tickets go on sale this Friday.
Bright sunshine and pleasant this afternoon, high 64. Clear for a while tonight, then partly cloudy late. Those will range from 36 in some of the coldest spots to about 44 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, breezy and warmer for the afternoon, high 72. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's sunny, 53 degrees. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's hour 2 of the Chris and Amy Show with you until 12 o'clock today. Then the Gas House Gang. It'll be Tom Ackerman and me. Amy's going to join the show, too. Talk a little Blues hockey. They've lost 7 straight games. But we are glad you're with us up until that point. And we've got John Hancock, who is in studio with us. And Friday, John, you told us a story about a family friend. And for people who did not get a chance to hear that story, we know you have an update on it, some more information to tell us. But give people a quick version of what exactly is going on right now with a family friend of yours.
So the friendship is 4 generations. I met a guy 30 some years ago who owned a small business in town. I didn't know him, but he was a friend of a friend, and I was running for office, and he threw a fundraiser for me at his house. And through the course of knowing him, he had a son that was in my church. And so I got to know his son and his wife, and we were roughly the same age. He had a son that was my son's age that went through school together. And he had a daughter. His youngest child was the same age as my daughter, youngest child. And so from pre-kindergarten through grade school and middle school and high school, they were great friends. In fact, when my daughter turned 16, Georgianne took this friend and my daughter to Disney World as a surprise for their 16th birthday. And so, I mean, we're close. Yeah. She ended up getting married, and my daughter got married, and they both had a child 3 years ago. And those 2 girls have dance class together every Saturday. So this is a close relationship. This woman, and I'm not going to name names, but she went through college at St. Louis U, and while she was getting she's a nutritionist, while she was getting her degree, she worked at a restaurant, and the cook at the restaurant and she fell in love, and they got married and started a family, bought a house. They have a mortgage, and they're raising their now 2 children. Their youngest is the same age as my youngest. I mean, this is remarkable. Mm-hmm. And so a week ago Thursday, this man was going to work, was followed from his driveway to his place of employment, and when he got out of his car, he was arrested by ICE and taken to a jail in St. Genevieve, Missouri. Apparently, they had gone through the process. I heard you guys in the 9 o'clock hour kind of recap this, but they had spent $15,000 on a lawyer who told them he's legal. Got a social security card, got a driver's license, thought that was all on the up and up. Turns out the law firm in Houston were giving out, I don't know exactly how, but it was fraudulent what they were doing. And they apparently had done it to a whole lot of people. And so when the feds busted the law firm for fraud, this man's file was in their, office. And I think, and we're not sure, but we think that's the basis upon which he was arrested. He had legal counsel here attempting to get a hearing, to get before a judge and plead his case. The lawyers went down to St. Genevieve to see him last week and were told when they arrived that he was removed after midnight and taken somewhere else. He's in a prison, I believe, in Springfield, Missouri now, with 3 very hardened criminals in his cell. Fearful. This is a good kid. And he's 33 years old. And he's going to be deported. No hearing. And I haven't gotten the most recent update, but, you know, he's going to have to sign his deportation orders. He's going to have to sign so that his youngest child, who doesn't have a passport, can get a passport, because you need both parents' signatures. And this young woman is going to have to, you know, break that news if she hasn't already. And then from there, he'll be sent to a deportation center. And these are the facilities all over the country that you've probably heard of, where they won't allow members of Congress to even come in and inspect the conditions. And ICE has basically told us nothing. When the lawyer went to St. Genevieve, it's a state prison there. The prison leaders, all they knew was that they took him. They didn't know where. ICE didn't tell them anything. They just took him. And so where we are now is he will, I assume, be sent to a deportation facility. And from there, they can send him anywhere. Yeah, they could send him to I don't think, and I pray not. I mean, they could send him to that El Salvador prison, work prison. They could. He has family in Mexico. And, you know, our prayer right now is that that's where he is sent. And I think at some point, you know, think about this. He's a breadwinner. He's got a mortgage. He's paid into Social Security. He's now got a wife whose husband can't return to this country, probably ever. And, you know, they got house. I think there's a lot for them to square away.
How is she? Now she's the breadwinner. She's the mother. She's got an 8-month-old, 3-year-old.
Yeah.
She's lost.
And the 3-year-old.
Her husband.
Yeah. 3-year-old wants to know where daddy is. You know, what do you tell a 3-year-old? In a circumstance. I mean, it's heartbreaking. And it's, you know, I'm very slow to anger. Just that's my disposition, you know. But I'm very angry. This is not America, you know. And folks that think this is okay, it's not. When you look at people and their race or their ethnicity is more important than their humanity, then something's wrong. And this is a guy doing the best he can.
It's cruel.
It's very cruel.
It's calloused. It's merciless. It's inhumane. And
for what point?
And for what point? And I will say, there are very, very few times that I would use the word that I'm ashamed of what our country is doing, or you know, it's beyond embarrassed. This is shameful.
Yeah.
This is shameful.
Yeah.
And this is what this administration wanted to do, and they said they were going to do it, and they're doing it. Well, but although they did tell us they were going to go after the worst of the worst,
and hey,
this is
I'm
not
all
one
for
of those people.
if you're here illegally and you're out there committing crimes and I'm all for that. Deporting folks like that, and every administration in this country has done that. You know, whether it's the Bush administrations, Clinton. Certainly Obama deported more people than any president in American. Well, Eisenhower might have him beat, but I mean, that's not new, deporting criminal, illegal aliens in this country. What's new is sending mass troops onto the streets of American cities and abducting people. This guy, this husband of this friend of ours, one of the people in the St. Genevieve jail he knew, and he was arrested while at a gas station filling up his car, and the ICE agents came up to him, asked for his papers, and took him away.
This is like what you hear about in China.
Oh,
This is like KGB.
yes.
That
It's exactly
people
what
in
it is.
unmarked cars
Yep.
wearing masks are literally abducting people
Yeah.
at gas stations. We talked about the man from Staunton.
Yep.
And John
And
watching on
he's
YouTube
in the
brings him
St.
up.
Genevieve facility. That's where he was.
Yep,
too.
yep. He
Or
is a restaurant
Probably
owner.
not there now.
A restaurant owner. He dropped his child off at school. These cowardly ICE agents followed him, picked him up, arrested him, abducted him after he dropped his kid off at school. John, who's watching on YouTube, says 500 people gathered in downtown Staunton. I had read
I think it was
300.
close to 3, but
Yeah,
still,
I'd
that's a
read
lot of
300
people.
but-
Staunton's not very big. You're
Yeah.
talking
No.
about less than 5,000 people who live there.
And his Ishmael Sandoval, and he says the local restaurateur who was abducted by the administration's Stasi gone goons last week. As a small businessman, this is John speaking. John on YouTube, not John Hancock. Mr. Sandoval has done far more to support his community than 99.9% of those whose attitude is just ship them out. Like, he's just saying,
that is no question about it.
He's just saying
absolutely
this,
true.
This man has contributed to his community. He's a restaurant owner, and the way they're abducting them.
Yeah. Well, and I'm intimately familiar with the situation that my family knows of.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people across the country that fit this exact same criteria.
We saw the numbers from, was it Syracuse University, who looked at this, and it was something like 71% of people who have been detained by ICE have zero criminal record. Zero. When we were promised worst of the worst. Going to get the worst of the worst, which we do not disagree with. Nobody
Right.
disagrees
Because
with taking the worst
and
of the
as
worst
John-
and removing them.
Yes, the worst
We're
of the
talking about
worst.
people who own restaurants,
Mhm.
who take their kids to school, who are landscapers, or they're working somewhere else. You know, they're contributing to society. That's not who we should be sending out of the country. It's just this is an incompetent administration, or they're cruel. It's one of the two, and it might be both.
Oh, I think it's both. And let me say this, because John, I think you brought this up Friday about the border being secure.
Yeah.
There is a difference between securing the border and not letting anyone in, because they say, oh, well, once they cross the border illegally, that's a crime. Okay, the border's secure. We're keeping
Now.
people out now. We're keeping people out until they can go through the due processes, the appropriate processes. But in the meantime, the people who are here, you do need to be more methodical. You got to have due process. You got to say, okay, the worst of the worst, yes, get them out. The goal here was not to just take everybody without, just indiscriminately grabbing husbands and wives and mothers and fathers and business owners and teachers and saying, too bad, you are collateral damage.
Well,
These
we had
are
a texter who
humans.
said that last
And
week, which is it's a
destroying-
vile
It's
thought.
destroying lives
Yes.
and families. And there's no point to it. And it actually, in my opinion, damages our country. America, for its history, certainly its recent history, has been a destination for the world. The world had wanted to come to, if there's some way we could make it to America, that's our hope. That's our dream. We were unique. We were a shining city on a hill. We're not anymore. And one of the reasons that the border is more secure now is that people don't want to come here. And that's not helpful for America.
Nope.
When folks want to come here and build a life for themselves, and engage in a free economy, in a free country, that helps the country.
Well, what
it builds
about
a country.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not just people who are, doing the manual labor jobs, the restaurant jobs, construction jobs, which we need. We need all of these people.
Who's putting the roofs on the buildings in North St. Louis now? They all got carted off.
That's right. And it's not just that, but it is people coming from somewhere else who go to school here, who want to go to a college here so that they can end up being doctors or whatever else.
Millions of them in this country.
Enrollment for foreign students wanting to go to U.S. colleges is down dramatically too.
Yeah,
That is a
and
terrible side effect of this.
What's happened to the tourism industry? I look at Las Vegas.
This is such a bad policy.
Yeah, it's it's sad and I'm angry.
John Hancock is with us. It's Chris and Amy. Got another segment to go with John. We appreciate you and your thoughts as well. 314-436-7900. It is the Chris and Amy show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hey Illinois, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. Sorry St. Louis, this message is for our friends in the Metro East. Did you know that most Missouri-based tree contractors can't legally travel into Illinois? This is due to federal motor carrier regulations that require large trucks and their drivers to be registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in order to travel across state lines. Almost all other tree services in Missouri fail to meet the requirements for safety, drug and alcohol testing, and equipment maintenance that are required for interstate travel. Here at Timberline, we meet and exceed all of these requirements and will be glad to travel across the river to meet all of your tree care needs. Call us today at 636-479-7475 for tree fertilization, pruning, insect and disease treatment, or complete removal. Or visit our website at stltreecare.com. That's stltreecare.com for service in the Metro East area.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and take $50 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu. It's the most inspiring night in sports, the Musial Awards at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event from St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the Musial Awards celebrate those who uplift us through their extraordinary sportsmanship. Experience the remarkable moments and people that make this an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 22nd. Tickets at musialawards.com.
This is Senator Eric Schmidt congratulating KMOX and its 50,000 red-hot watts on 100 years on the air in St. Louis.
Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out.
Donald Trump on 60 Minutes last night saying that the tactics of ICE agents not gone far enough, even though we've learned that something like 70% of all those who've been detained by ICE have no criminal record whatsoever. And despite the fact the administration or the candidate for president, Donald Trump, said that they would go after the worst of the worst. They have not done that. They've done more than that. We were talking with John Hancock, telling us a story about a personal friend, a family friend who has been detained and is on the verge of being deported despite having done nothing wrong here, thought they were legal, went through an attorney out of Texas, an immigration attorney out of Texas who appeared to have been acting fraudulently. But when you hear the president say that I mean, we've seen video of ICE agents just tackling people who've done nothing wrong. We're wearing masks so you can't see their faces. And then he says they haven't gone far enough. What do you think of that?
Well, it's disgusting. It's reprehensible. It's repugnant. And, you know, the hiring, there have been a wholesale hiring of these folks. There was a massive appropriation to add agents. I don't know what kind of training these folks are receiving that are being dispatched on the streets.
Doesn't appear to be good.
It doesn't. And, you know, and when you're hiring in mass numbers like that, you kind of get what you get.
Mm-hmm. So,
they're paying these people $50,000 bonuses to join ICE. I mean, think about that. And here we're a country that's in debt massively, increasing every day. We don't have a functioning Congress. And even when they're in session, they're not functioning as they ought. And that's been the case for a long time now in this country. We're in a very rough patch, folks. The tendency to get up in the morning and go to work and get your groceries and go to the movies and watch the games on television, that's, for most folks, that's life in America. And we're not living in the same country we were living in 10 years ago. And I'm far from an alarmist. And I have said for years, when people would say, you know, we're heading down to this path or this is going to, and I would say that'll never happen in America. It's happening. And folks ought to wake up because it's happening.
And it's difficult to put into words, as you said, John. You're generally slow to anger.
Yeah.
And this is infuriating. I think it's shameful. It's cruel. It's inhumane. And I think people should note that it's coming from a man in administration who was so personally offended by the fact that a Canadian politician would play a Ronald Reagan speech, so offended that he wants to end trade negotiations and slap tariffs, and yet has no problem tearing husbands and fathers and wives and mothers away from their children, ripping families apart, ripping families that, like you said, a man who paid $15,000 to do everything the right way, no fault of his own. This law firm was fraudulent, was the breadwinner for his wife and children. His wife, grew up here, from here. They're an American family.
Yep.
Tear them apart, but heaven forbid you say something that insults the tiny ego of or a huge ego, I should say, of a small, insecure man. It's difficult to put into words.
Well, I don't want to personalize this because there are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of people that are in precisely the same circumstance. And it's hard for me. I've been a Republican my entire life. My entire adult life, I've been a Republican, associated with the party, ran under its banner for public office, directed its activities for the state of Missouri as executive director of the state Republican Party. I was the chairman within the last decade of the Missouri Republican Party. And for me to see a Republican administration doing things that I find morally repugnant is it makes me mad. Makes me mad. And to hear voices in the punditry world or the radio host or television host world defending everything this administration does is disheartening. You know, I'm sure there are things they're doing well, but this isn't one of them.
John, we appreciate you coming in. We are sorry about your friend. This is not how we should be. This is it's very anti-American, and it's a real shame that this has happened. And hopefully, some miracle happens. And I mean, I don't know how it could. I hope that it does.
It won't.
We appreciate you. Thank you, John.
All right, see you Friday.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Now, KMOX weather from the Salika Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 57 degrees. Lots of sunshine today. A high of 63 tonight. Clear to partly cloudy and chilly. A low now of 39.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, a Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Go Paulie! Paulie's a great name. Go Paulie! What'd you do for Paulie? Anything? Me, Paulie! I was responsible!
Paulie, we're here because of you.
We have a world champion in baseball. It's the LA Dodgers. They won in 7 games on Saturday. It was game 7. And speaking of 7, the Blues have lost that many in a row. So what to get to first? We've got Matt Pauley, the host of Sports Open Line, Rush Hour Sports, which is at 5 o'clock, and pre- and post-game coverage for the Cardinals when the season is in session. And we've got Matt Pauley with us now. So let's start with the World Series, Matt. And, the question has been asked by some in the baseball world whether or not that was the best World Series ever. What do you think?
It was really good. Like, I'm not, I can't sit here and cite every single World Series that has occurred. So it's hard for me to answer that question. But there were so many things that happened in that World Series. The 18-inning game, that 9-run 6th inning, the pinch hit grand slam, the way Game 7 played out. I'm sure I'm missing something. The Yamamoto complete game, like just Yamamoto coming back. Wow, what a world! And the fact that Toronto was inches away from winning it multiple times. Oh, that was so good. I had somebody on Twitter who it wasn't adversarial at all, but basically said to me that they had a hard time enjoying it because of how the Dodgers built their team. And like, I get that if that's going to be your number one thing. But for me personally, I watched that and I enjoyed every single moment of it. The fact that the Dodgers had, bought and paid for most of their roster, that did not bother me in the moment because I was watching something that was really, really amazing play out.
I think it was to me, it was the best World Series ever. And I know Ranj brought up recency bias, and it's probably true, but I know for a fact, I personally have never enjoyed a non-Cardinals World Series more. It was so much fun. I was glued to every game.
Yeah, and that's the way. You said it, Amy. Like, I don't have a whole lot more to add to that. I can't think. I'm with you. I have a hard time, and maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment. And let's talk again in 5 years. But I can't remember enjoying watching a World Series play out as much as I did this one, outside of the Cardinals obviously being in one. That's a different thing.
So the conversation that we have been having about we'll get to the Cardinals off season here because that's next. That's the thing that's happening now. About the Dodgers winning and if it's bad for baseball. And we have heard people say that you don't want that team with all that payroll, all that money winning the whole thing because it's just unfair to everybody else. When you hear arguments like that, what do you think?
Are there some things that the Dodgers can do that other teams can't do? Yes. Are there things the Dodgers do that other teams could also do that they choose not to? Yes. Like that's part of it as well. I mean, teams could push payroll a little bit more than they do, but it would be disingenuous to not say that there's clearly some advantages that the Dodgers have that a lot of teams in baseball don't have. They've won back-to-back World Series. Not trying to run away from that fact. They have an incredible team. They also have a team where they couldn't trust their bullpen, and they spent all that money. And as you watch, they had to bring a starting pitcher back out the day after he threw almost 100 pitches. So they were not a perfect team by any stretch of the mind. Are there some things that baseball could tweak to level the playing field a little bit? Yeah, I think there are, but I don't think we need to make. We're not going to. I like to talk in reality. The players are not going to agree to a salary cap. It is not going to happen. So let's stop even talking about that because it's just simply something that's not going to happen. Are there other things that can be put in place that even up the playing ground just a little bit? Yeah, I think there are, and hopefully they're able to work through some of those things in the next CBA.
All right, let's now talk about the Cardinals off season because we wonder what it's going to look like, and they're going to have to field the team, so they're going to have to field the rotation. That will, I think that is pretty up in the air at the moment. Whether or not Sonny Gray comes back for 2026, that is up in the air. How different do you think this roster is going to look for next season?
I think there's going to be some key names that exit. Does Sonny Gray get traded? I think it's a 50-50 proposition. I'm not 100% sure it's going to happen. But I also, I don't, he's basically said that he would be open to it. Is there still a possibility that if the right deal came around that he would accept it, that Wilson Contreras could get moved? Yeah, that's a possibility. And then we've spent so much of this time since the season has ended talking about the likes of Nolan Arenado, Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Lars Nootbaar, Nolan Gorman. Multiples of those guys will probably get moved as well. They are going to have to figure out some pitching. They're going to have to bring some pitching in. They just do not have enough, even in a year where they're going through this rebuild process. They don't have enough pitching to get through the season next year. So that's something that they are going to have to add in some form or fashion. I think the thing that I'm most interested in going into this offseason is those type of moves that have to be made just so, like you said, Chris, you have to field team. Those type of moves, are those going to be 1 year type deals, not a whole lot of money being put out just so you can be competitive, just so you have a guy? Or is there a possibility that they bring on some players on longer term deals that, yeah, they're going to be around for next year, but the main thing is they're still going to be on the team once this thing turns into something that's going to be competing at a much higher level? And I'm not quite, the proverbial gun to the head, which one is it going to be? I feel like it's going to be the first thing. I don't think they're going to be looking to add multi-year deals and already bringing in the guys that are going to be part of the core moving forward from the outside. But if an opportunity presents itself, I don't think they're going to run away from it either.
Also, Mason Wynn, as we kind of expected, won the Gold Glove Award. And I think the only knock against him was that he missed a lot of time with injury. But, there was nobody who was better at that position this year.
No, he was easily the best defensive shortstop. That was not the question. Like you said, did he play enough games for him to win the Gold Glove? And credit goes to the folks who made that decision and who voted on it, because there was nobody who matched up defensively to Mason Wynn. I'm glad he won it, rightfully so that he won it. And hopefully this goes on he goes on a long run of winning the Gold Glove at shortstop. I mean, you think about the Cardinals, you think about all the Gold Gloves that Ozzie Smith won. Edgar Renteria won back-to-back Gold Gloves at one point. Let's see Mason Wynn become the next shortstop with multiple Gold Gloves, which I think is likely. We'll see who emerges, but there's nobody in baseball right now that can do what Mason Wynn does defensively.
So 7 in a row, huh?
Whew, it's not good.
It's a little rough.
You guys know me. I'm not the hot take guy. I'm not the jump off a cliff guy. It's still early. I'm sick of saying that, though.
Mm-hmm.
They're finding different ways to lose. Even when they put a much better effort out on the ice, it's not resulting in a victory. I don't know. I don't know. It has to end at some point. I mean, you are burying yourself right now, and I feel dumb talking about playoffs and divisions and wild cards and all that on November 3rd, because there is obviously and clearly more than enough time to get that stuff figured out. But for the Blues right now, they are continuing to put themselves in a really, really tough spot in what they have to do to climb out of this thing. And they're only a handful of points out of a playoff spot, so it's not end of the world sort of thing. So forget that. Just play better hockey. Be the team that we thought you were going to be when the season got started.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I've heard a lot of people say, well, everyone was hyping this team up too much. Everyone was too hot on these guys. They were never going to be great. Okay, fine. Even if that's true, even if you didn't think they were going to win the Central Division, nobody thought they would be tied for last in the National Hockey League after the month of October. They're not that bad. I don't care how much you thought that people were hyping the team up too much. Nobody thought they would be last, which they currently are. Only the Flames and the Blues are still in single-digit points on the season so far in the National Hockey League. So they can't stay this bad. Knock on wood. I hope not, because they're not that bad. But,
who was saying that though? What we were saying, that they were going to, be a Stanley Cup contender or win the Central Division. What we were saying, I think across the board, I think anybody with common sense, and that includes all of us talking right now, we all said that this is a team that should be a playoff team, that this is a team that's probably going to be a team that is in the wild card conversation. It would be very much a disappointment if they are not a playoff team, but they're probably in the wild card conversation because of how good the Central Division is and how good the Western Conference is. And if they just play totally above their skis, maybe they get into a top 3 spot in the division, like the third.
Yeah,
none of us were saying this is a Central Division winning team. This is a Western Conference winning team. Nobody said that.
No, and I will say this: I was probably as high on the team as anybody. I'll say it. I thought these guys could be really good, because I want to say, and I don't want to dox him if it's not him. It was like Jeremy Rutherford or somebody said, they could come in third, right? They could be third in the Central Division, which was, it's pretty generous. And I remember when they said that, and I go, I might have said it on air. I was like, they could come in higher. I bet they could come in higher. I was drinking the Kool-Aid like nobody's business, Matt. And I had a mea culpa last week because, geez, Louise, was I wrong? But I'll take it. Like I really was. When the writers would say, or like you, the sports guys, right, would all say they should be a playoff team, they're going to be wild card, and even a couple of guys would say, like I said, third place. I thought, I don't think we're giving them enough credit. They're gonna surprise us all. I was so wrong. No one's ever been as wrong as I have been, Matt. But I will say this: the Blues announced just a few minutes ago that they have acquired defenseman, I think it's Cal Rosen, Cal Rosen from the Washington Capitals in exchange for a defenseman, Corey Schooneman. Shows something, I can't say his last name. Rosen will report to the Blues AHL affiliate, the Springfield Thunderbirds. So they did pick up Rosen from the Washington Capitals. He's 31 years old. He's, been around with the Blues before.
I think it is Calais
Rosen. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could not remember for the life of me.
He's been around.
He's been with the Blues.
Yeah. So, okay. But defensively, they're so bad. They're so bad defensively. Monty's talked about this a lot. He says it's the equivalent of throwing a slow pitch softball to Albert Pujols, what they're doing in terms of giving up just these grade A prime shots, because the numbers actually don't add up, because they're actually not spending that much time in the defensive zone. Generally, if you're in the defensive zone for a long time, that's bad. Well, they're in a defensive zone for a very short amount of time, but they're in there for a short amount of time because teams skate into the zone and they're like, okay, hey, look, we got a great shot right now. We don't have to run our offense at all.
Here are 3 breakaways in a row and 2 odd man rushes. That's what they've done.
Yeah.
So, Matt Pauley, tonight, SLU will open up their regular season, SLU men's basketball. They've got SEMO. It's a 6:45 pregame show, so you'll have Sports Open line up until that point?
Yes.
How good are they going to be?
I think they're going to be all right. I think they're a team that contends at the top of the division, and if they do that, they can be an NCAA tournament team. So I kind of said the same thing last year, and they were not as good as I thought they were going to be. I'll run it back and think say the same thing for this year. I think they've got an opportunity to be really, really good.
Matt Pauley's got Rush Hour Sports at 5 o'clock. Then 45 minutes worth of Sports Open line at 6. Pregame show 6:45. SLU and SEMO. You can hear the game on 104.1 FM KMOX. Thank you, Matt.
You bet.
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
Join the show, won't you? 314-436-7900. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. We're going to talk to Andrew Egger at 11 o'clock, White House correspondent from the Bulwark. He will be with us. He's with us every Monday here on KMOX. And they've been with us now for what? About 3 months? 2-3 months. Krentz Financial, the fine people there, Todd Krentz, Justin Brown, and Kyle Busch. And what they've been doing is helping people in St. Louis Businesses and families alike plan with purpose and live with confidence. Your goals, their mission.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about financial planning, when you're looking at, going through a divorce or, your 401k, planning for retirement, you want to talk to someone who gets it, someone who's easy to talk to, someone who's an expert in their field, who's been doing this for a long time. And those are the folks at Krentz Financial. I was laughing. I was emailing with Todd Krentz the other day, and it doesn't feel like you're talking to a machine, Ron. You know how there are so many, I don't know, like whether it's automated or people that just sound automated.
Jargon.
And you just want to talk to a real person. And that's how I felt talking to Todd Krentz. And that goes a long way when you're talking about something as personal as your finances.
They are real people there. And at Krentz Financial, they're going to help you if you have lost a loved one and gained an inheritance, if you're going through a divorce, changed jobs, if you've got that 401k from an old job that's just sort of sitting there. Well, at Krentz Financial, they're going to help you figure it out and navigate all that. Maybe you're worried about retirement too. And I think all of us are.
Yeah. And really ask them the questions and find out more. Like I said, whether you are looking for a financial advisor or maybe just not jiving with the one you have now, learn more at kfgadvisors.com. That's kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Krantz Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Okay, where are Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt and all of our state reps in the situation with John Hancock's friend? For God's sakes, shouldn't they be representing and protecting the people in their state?
Yes.
Michelle leaving us a voice message on the Odyssey app. You can do the same. We had John Hancock in at the start of the hour talking about his family friend who is 33 years old and
father, a husband,
Yep,
a breadwinner, a father of 2, 3 years old, and 8 months old.
and thought that all of the immigration status it was all in order. They went through an immigration attorney out of Texas. It turned out to be fraudulently representing people. They did not know that. They paid $15,000 to do this. They're trying to do it the right way.
Which is another thing, Ranj. If the government, which the U.S. government did, found out that this law firm was charging people $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to provide these people with what they believe to be
trying to do it the right way. Yep.
Why would you not then just go after the law firm and realize that the people who are trying to do it the right way weren't trying to skirt the system?
Because they just want the numbers. They want it to look good. They want the numbers to be high.
If you spent $15,000 to get a lawyer to make sure you followed all of the rules and you were scammed, that should not be a reason to deport you. You were someone who was trying to do it the right way.
That's assuming that the administration is looking at this logically and humanely, which they're just clearly not.
It's cruel. And I say, I don't use the word shameful often. This is shameful.
It absolutely is. And look at the people of Staunton, Illinois, there's a business owner there who done nothing wrong, running a business. And with hundreds of people came out in support of him. And Staunton is not a big town. Less than 5,000 people live there. And the guy wasn't doing anything wrong. The community loved him, though. And that is exactly the kind of thing that we're talking about. Those are the people that we should be fostering and we should be supporting as immigrants who come here and they make something of themselves and they contribute to the community, whether it's working hard or it's owning a business like the man in Staunton was doing, who is now at the St. Genevieve facility where John's family friend was, and now is off to another deportation facility, and has, it just sounds like there's no hope of him getting to stay here. And that is just absolutely 100% wrong. And I'm sorry if you see it a different way. I just don't know how you could. Do we want to hear from Elizabeth too? Yep, she left us a voice message.
Hancock story is happening all over the country. This is what happens when the administration doesn't differentiate between hardened criminals and people who cross the border without proper paperwork. There are good family people who are being torn away from their family, just like this poor man.
That's exactly right.
And also, and worse than that, because as we said, the border is secure, because I get it. People say, well, once you cross the border illegally, you've committed a crime. Okay, fine. Well, the border's secure. This guy had the paperwork. Right? What he believed to be the right paperwork. This isn't even someone who crossed in illegally and contributed.
How does it improve your life? Think about this. How does it improve your life if a business owner who owns a Mexican restaurant in Staunton, Illinois gets deported, who's been doing nothing but contributing to a community? How does that make your life better? Give me a reason. I'd love to hear it. Text us 314-436-7900. We'll talk to Andrew Egger with the Bulwark, White House correspondent. St. Louis and Andrew Egger joins us next on KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, Bethesda volunteer Dave Glover here. Winter is right around the corner, and that means shoveling snow and preparing your house for the cold. Why not let Bethesda help you enjoy the season without the hassle of home maintenance? Bethesda Orchard in Webster Groves is an active and vibrant retirement community where residents spend time doing the things they want to do, not the things they have to do. And they have this beautiful backyard garden with walking paths that the residents take care of themselves. Extremely impressive. To learn more about Bethesda Orchard or any of the Bethesda retirement communities, go to BethesdaHealth.org.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next, it's an ice storm. Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports, here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. The KMOX Storm Center, sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling. 250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
It is 11 o'clock and we've got tons of sunshine, 56 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey. A young daughter of the Staunton restaurant owner detained by ICE last week spoke at a community rally Sunday in Macoupin County. Here's part of what Amy had to say.
My dad, he's a great person and he should not be in that terrible place.
A big crowd took part in the event to show support for 41-year-old Ismail Sandoval and his family. ICE released a statement saying Sandoval was being held because he had illegally crossed the border with Mexico several times almost 20 years ago. ICE also said he had a DUI conviction in 2008. Supporters are trying to prevent Sandoval from being deported, including Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski. This is not America, the words of KMOX political analyst John Hancock talking on the Chris and Amy show about a close friend of their family being scooped up by ICE on his way to work. So far, they've got no information about where he is.
He will, I assume, be sent to a deportation facility, and from there, they can send him anywhere. They could. He has family in Mexico, and, you know, our prayer right now is that that's where he is sent. You think about this. He's a breadwinner. He's got a mortgage. He's paid into Social Security.
The man has a wife and 2 small children, and he likely will never be allowed to return to see them. He will receive no hearing. With a lawsuit and settlement in the rearview mirror, President Trump appears on 60 Minutes for a wide-ranging interview with Norah O'Donnell. She asked about ICE raids.
Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out.
According to immigration data from TRAC, 71.5% of those held in ICE detention have no criminal conviction. That's as of the end of September. St. Louis City firefighters report no injuries from a morning fire in a 3-story brick building in the 7000 block of South Broadway. Flames were shooting through the roof when they arrived just before 8. Crews determined the place was vacant and decided to fight the fire from outside the collapse zone. From the business desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, the Food and Drug Administration's top drug regulator has abruptly quit.
The move by Dr. George Tidmarsh came after lawyers for the federal government started looking into, quote, serious concerns about his personal conduct. His resignation came the same day that a drug maker filed a lawsuit against him alleging, quote, false and defamatory statements about its products.
That's CBS's Jim Krasula reporting. Tidmarsh was the FDA's top regulator since July.
A nice afternoon with abundant sunshine and a high of 64. We'll start out clear tonight, then some clouds will move in late tonight. Overnight, those ranging from 36 in the coldest suburbs of Metro East to about 44 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, breezy, and warm in the afternoon, high 72. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Sunny and 56 degrees right now. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Hour 3 of the Chris and Amy Show. And it's time to go to the guest line this morning. We always do it just about this time on Mondays. White House correspondent for The Bulwark, Andrew Egger, who also is the co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter. You can sign up for it there at The Bulwark. Andrew Egger is with us on KMOX. Good to talk to you, Andrew. How you doing?
Long time to stay on the radio and yak. You guys have my respect for this.
I'm right. 3 hours is a hell of a long time. And don't forget,
used to be four.
Well, I'm still doing 4.
That's right. And I'll do part of it. We do sports for the 4th hour.
Yeah.
Andrew.
That's a little more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun.
Unless you're the Blues.
So the unless you're the Blues.
Our hockey team's on a 7-game losing streak, Andrew. So it's going from one calamity to the next around these parts.
Yeah. I went to the Commanders game last night and saw Jason Daniels' arm go the wrong direction. So that was not not good vibes. Not good vibes anywhere, it seems like.
I advised everybody here to not look at the injury if they didn't already see it. I would tell you not to go look at it because it's not great. It's kind of gross. So, Andrew, the shutdown continues. Last week we had heard that there was maybe some negotiating that was going on and the possibility of it coming to an end, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, we have gotten basically what are like the first green shoots of negotiating. There are Democrats talking to Republicans and vice versa at kind of like low member-to-member levels. The bottom line right now is that it seems pretty much guaranteed that we will not see any movement at this point before it becomes the longest shutdown in American history, which is scheduled to happen Thursday. Even if they were to get up this morning and say, hey, we've actually against all odds hit on a deal, that would still now need to go back to the House and be re-ratified, and it would take a little bit of time, even if there were to be some sort of breakthrough. The other kind of thing that everyone is sort of keeping one eye on right now is the fact that we have out-of-cycle elections tomorrow in a few states, which are going to be kind of a barometer of, I mean, not a perfect barometer by any means, but it's sort of a barometer of where public sentiment is on some of this stuff. If Democrats way overperform in those elections, maybe they feel like they have a stronger hand to stick out for some further concessions, and vice versa. If Democrats do worse than they expect, maybe they read that as, okay, well, maybe it's time to kind of close up shop here and just let the government get reopened. But again, there haven't been any sort of big swings in terms of anybody's particular political calculus about this. So yeah, for now, as crazy as it seems, 6 weeks in, we are largely where we were sort of at the beginning of this as far as the negotiations are concerned.
Andrew, speaking of those elections, are there any in particular that people are watching from Washington as a barometer? Because I can't tell if the New York mayoral race with Zoran Mamdani and Cuomo, is that actually a real barometer, or is that just such a weird election that it won't necessarily reflect the views across the country?
That's a barometer of some things, like some different things, right? I mean, the big question there is just sort of like how do New Yorkers like their Democrats, right? I mean, the Democrat has been likely to win this election forever. Cuomo kind of fell down in the primary and did not do a good job running against Mamdani, who upset him there. And then now with Cuomo running as an independent again, the question is sort of like, all right, now everybody's got their heads in the game. They've dropped the Oppo files on Mamdani. They've gotten all his kind of, more unsavory things he said over the years sort of out in front of the public eye, and it's almost a rematch, right? It's sort of like moderate, somewhat disgraced former Governor Andrew Cuomo versus this Democratic Socialist of America guy. So that is kind of its own sort of that will say certain things about the intra-Democratic Party dynamics. The more interesting ones, as far as the sort of the national barometer is concerned, are these out-of-cycle governor races in Virginia, where I live, which always done this. It's always been sort of a weird way of doing it. 1 year after the presidential, so it's kind of a canary in the coal mine thing. When Glenn Youngkin won 4 years ago, that was seen as like, wow, Republicans are doing much stronger than expected necessarily, and right in the wake of Joe Biden taking office there and things like that. And then there's another one in New Jersey. Both of these have relatively moderate Democratic candidates running. Obviously, they ought to win in New Jersey. They almost always do. Virginia has a Republican governor now, but obviously Northern Virginia has a ton of federal workers and defense contractors and people who might pejoratively be known as deep staters, who have been very up in arms about some of the DOGE cuts and all those sorts of things. So it's sort of a litmus test, the Virginia race in particular, for like how much ground Republicans have lost among some of the kind of like professional class Republicans over the last year or so. But it sort of remains to be seen. Spanberger, the Democrat, is expected to win, but anything can happen.
We are, and speaking of all of that, we are at the point where it's just about a year away from the election, from the midterms, and whether or not the control of Congress is going to switch hands back to the Democratic Party. That's up in the air right now. And there is new polling that shows Democrats do have a slight edge, something like 6 points at the moment in terms of favorability, or in terms of who people want to control Congress. The president right now is at 37% approval rating, which is the lowest he has seen in both of the terms. So as you look at the political landscape, knowing there's a year to go before that election, how do you see it, and how predictable do you think it is?
How predictable is it is the correct question, because the answer is not at all. Not at all. I mean, like there's so much stuff that is going to shake out between now and then, just in terms of, for one thing, the congressional map. You have all of these states in both Republican and Democrat run states who are kind of in this arms race to gerrymander themselves more and redistrict harder, which is, so we don't even really know what the congressional districts are necessarily going to look like ahead of the midterms. On top of that, the Supreme Court is likely to hear a case that's a challenge to the last remaining existing portions of the 60s Voting Rights Act that could free up a whole bunch more redistricting, depending on how they rule on that. That could lead to another wave of sort of like Republican-led gerrymandering across the South. So that would be another big thing for Republicans there. And the other thing, this is again the Supreme Court, is they're likely to, over the next month or two, rule on whether Donald Trump has the right to issue all of these tariffs that he has been issuing all over the place, which have been providing a humongous amount of drag on the economy. But if they were to sort of take that out of Donald Trump's hands and say, actually, a lot of these tariffs you put into place, not only can you not actually do that, but you actually have to give a lot of this tariff revenue that you have collected back to the businesses who paid it. You could see like a major shift in sort of the economic narrative that we have right now, with a lot of like economic warning signs and lights flashing on the dashboard and storm clouds in the sky, whatever metaphor you want. So like, depending on how any of those things swing, we're going to be looking at a very different congressional picture, a year from now. Setting aside all of the million other controversies and different, big policy swings the White House is taking and how the public will bounce on any of those. But yeah, I mean, you are right. Democrats have some reasons to be cheerful about some of that generic ballot polling that you're talking about. That's any good news is good news for Democrats, with how badly they have been polling their party brand and just sort of across the board this year. But yeah, a lot of football left to play there.
In terms of Democratic polling, one of the arguments I have heard a lot is that, well, one of the reasons the brand is so low and they're not polling well, the Democrats generally, is because Democrats aren't happy with them. They're not happy that they're not fighting hard enough against this current administration. So how much of that is true?
Definitely a big part of it. I mean, if you are a Democrat right now, you blame, Republicans for a lot of the stuff that's happening, but you also blame your own party leaders for kind of, falling on their faces last year and letting Republicans sweep back into power in both chambers of Congress and obviously in the presidency. And so that is yet another sort of like complicating factor, because even though it is plain that exists, that is in the data there, it's very hard to tease out how much of it is in the data there. And it's also very hard to use that data to predict like future voter behavior, right? Because in theory, a person who is really mad at their own party might still be an extremely reliable voter. When next November, when it comes time, they'll grumble their way into the polling place and they'll pull the lever for maybe a different Democrat or maybe the same Democrat again, but they're still, going to come out and vote against a Republican. That's one kind of like committed partisan Democratic voter. But you could also imagine a person for whom they might sort of swear off the enterprise, right? Like they're like, what's the point of continuing to elect these people back to Congress or whatever? It's not like they're providing much of a check while they're in there anyway. I'm not saying that's like a rational way of thinking, but I'm just saying it is one possible way of looking at this data. And I think a lot of Democrats are sort of on tenterhooks to figure out over the next year or so which of those types of voter more accurately describes their coalition here.
Hey, Andrew, I know there's always so many headlines here that news coming out of Africa generally doesn't make the headlines. We remember 2014, Boko Haram's infamous kidnapping of 276 Christian schoolgirls, and many were forced to convert to Islam. And in Nigeria, there's a militant Islamic extremists are waging war against Christians. 52,000 or over 50,000 Christians killed in that country in the past handful of years. And I bring this up as the background because it generally doesn't make the news, but President Trump has said that the U.S. could go into Nigeria, quote, guns a-blazing, and also aid assistance to the country if it continues allowing the killing of Christians. Obviously, a lot of geopolitical implications here. What do we know about what the president said and how that's being received?
Yeah, so there's basically two tracks for this story, right? There's one story that's been going on for a few months already, or even a few years already. Nigeria has gone on to and come off of the list that the U.S. government maintains of countries that are committing basically religious freedom abuses under a piece of landmark legislation that was signed by Bill Clinton back in the 90s. That's basically just like the register of religious freedom offenders, right? Mm-hmm. And they're not currently on there. They were on there in the first Trump term. They're not currently on there. There are Republican senators who have been lobbying the Trump administration to put them back on that list. So that's kind of how this sort of came to Trump's attention, is that, the administration has been getting these letters basically saying Nigeria, not Ethiopia, has been site to these sorts of atrocities, these sorts of abuses, and we ought to take this policy stance as a result of that. And in Trump's tweet, he delivers that first. He says we're gonna designate Nigeria this country of concern under this law, but that's not all. And then he goes on and he says the stuff that you're talking about, where if the government does not get serious about stopping this stuff, not only will the U.S. sort of cut off aid to Nigeria, what remaining aid is still going there after the cuts to USAID and all those sorts of things that happened earlier this year, but we would also sort of contemplate military action. And this is always the thing with Trump, right? It's like, to what extent is this a negotiating threat, and to what extent is this an active threat, right? And I think he, as a negotiator, likes to keep that vague, right? I mean, he wants the government of Nigeria not only to be like, oh, look, I guess Yes, the U.S. is putting us on that list again. That's another thing we're going to need to worry about and think about. He wants them to be like, oh, wait, is the United States actually going to actively come and make a real big problem for us if we do not address this more aggressively? So that's like, again, we will see in sort of the days and weeks ahead what actual concrete steps the United States takes here. But this is pretty classic Donald Trump to open things up with a big punch in terms of negotiating right off the bat.
Andrew Egger, we always appreciate your time. As we say goodbye here, there is a texter who asks a pretty good question, and that is, if Washington is shut down right now, how come they haven't shut down the Commanders?
This is a really good question, and it is a question that I think was on a lot of Commanders fans' lips leaving that particular game last night. It was really not a very good showing at all.
No, not good. Andrew Egger, we appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And we talk to Andrew every Monday just after 11 o'clock. He's the White House correspondent for The Bulwark and co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter for The Bulwark. And Andrew, a St. Louisan. Good to talk to him as always. The Gas House Gang is coming up at 12 o'clock. It'll be Tom Ackerman and me. Amy's going to join the show. We're going to talk a little hockey during that show because the Blues are, well, we always talk to her on Mondays. And then Bob Ramsey will be with us.
And
is this happening?
It's happening.
Mason Wynn joins the show at 12:30. The Gold Glover.
Hot dog. Are you
Gold
serious?
Glover Mason Wynn will be on the show at 12:30 today. How about that? Gas House Gang at noon on KMOX.
Thinking about a bath remodel or swapping that old tub for a sleek, easy to clean shower? Glover here for Michael's Baths with one question. What is there even to think about? Michael's
shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Stay save right now. Buy 2 windows and get 2 windows for free and 36 months of 0% financing plus a bonus of $500 off. Restrictions apply. Call 314-334-2522.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
The Musial Awards celebrates its 20th year on Saturday, November 22nd at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event hosted right here in St. Louis. It's a night to be entertained and inspired. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Hi, I'm Ryan Recker. You may remember me from such shows as That One After the Cardinals Game, also known as Overnight America. 100 years is a great accomplishment with a lot of fantastic moments. Congrats, and here's to the memories.
I just asked Andrew Egger about the truth post from President Donald Trump, about Nigeria and what's going on. And it really is awful. 2 of the biggest humanitarian crises in the world right now happening in Nigeria and Sudan. I mentioned over 50,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria in the past 10 years or so. 19,000 churches have been destroyed. The Nigeria story, that is the Boko Haram story that we remember from 2015, when 276 girls were kidnapped, abducted, which it did get some, because of the atrocity of it, some global attention. But a couple things here. Ranj, one, I think it's easy to forget how big Nigeria is. It's the 6th most populous country in the world. 237 million people. That's easy to forget. Also in the news, Sudan, the Yale confirmed that there are mass massacres of civilians by militant Islamists who are killing all of the non-Arab communities. So they're going after non-Arab communities and killing them. And Yale confirmed that you could see some of this slaughter, the blood stains on the dry sand in Sudan, from space, because it seemed like a story that couldn't possibly be true. But they did confirm that you're seeing these giant stains over the sand in Sudan. And Sudan is determined the single greatest humanitarian crisis. There's a famine where 25 million people are starving and food insecure. Since 2023, 150,000 people killed, 14 million displaced. Just a couple of days ago, I hate to say this because it is so awful, but Islamic militants were hanging children and videoing it. I mean, it's out there. The videos are out there. And I wonder how this has been going on now for years. Why have we not seen this? And Van Jones, a couple of weeks ago, really a few weeks ago, brought up the same topic. Van Jones of CNN.
Including the fact that Africa right now is being overrun by Islamist terrorists, including Boko Haram, with no conversation about that at all.
I did it last week.
Exactly.
Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria.
I mean, this is an actual planned genocide.
Yes.
I mean, they really want to kill all the Christians in that country, and they are systematically doing it.
And the fact that there's almost no response from the global left and no attention from mainstream media is a crime against African people, Black people, and human rights. I agree with that 100%. It turns out that there's a double standard for Jews. That is true. No Jews, no news. As long as you can put the Jewish state in the conversation, it's going to be a big conversation. If you can't, you get no attention at all. This is a big problem.
And he brought that up because it was in the middle of the conversation about Gaza and all of the protests that we're seeing on college campuses and on the streets, and Greta Thunberg and the United Nations. But did you know the United Nations didn't make a statement about the Sudan? Never mentioned about what was going on in Sudan. Neither did Greta Thunberg. And at some point you have to say, well, wait a minute. This is the world's largest humanitarian crisis. 25 million people. You see the videos and the pictures coming out of Sudan. The Atlantic, just a gutting article the Atlantic did with several of their reporters, writers went to Sudan and just documented what they saw. And it's so difficult to read. And again, Van Jones brought up the saying, if it's not the Jews, it's not the news, because we haven't heard about it. But the UN has condemned Israel. 50% of their condemnations were against Israel, but nothing about this. It really does show a double standard. more people need to be talking about what's going on
Sure.
in Sudan and Nigeria, where they are real genocides, and the documentation is rampant. When you have a famine of this size, the documentation will be rampant, and it is.
I would agree that there needs to be more attention paid to what's going on there. If you're wondering why we tend to pay more attention to what's happening in Gaza, it is because of our close relationship with Israel and the fact that there are, and Israel does not equal Jewish people, because just because you're Jewish here in this country does not mean that you're Israeli. But there are 7.5 million Jewish people in the United States. So naturally, there's just going to be more interest paid to anything Israel does. And so what's happening in Gaza is on everybody's mind, and because we fund their military in such a big way.
But
That's why there's so much
But
attention
it's also
paid
crazy
to it.
that the New York Times is like, we want to run a story about a famine or genocide, which there was no starvation campaign. The UN, what was happening in Gaza did not qualify as a genocide. They had to change the definition because it doesn't qualify, and they couldn't find documentation of it. So they used a picture of a kid who had a pre-existing condition, who, by the way, got treatment in Israel, and they cropped out his well-fed brother and said, this is proof of famine. It was, to me, it is journalistic malpractice to focus so heavily on that, to the point where, because you want to write a famine story, you have to use a picture that had been debunked. So I think there's that side of it, but also...
But I think we're focusing just too much on that one thing, because there are plenty of images and videos that we have all seen.
Not
you don't
a
have
famine.
to focus
I didn't
on
see
that.
starving
I mean,
adults.
it's a bad situation.
It was a bad
That's-
situation
in Gaza.
and that's
Really
bad.
bad.
And that's why
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
yeah.
to be careful with our language, because this is a real genocide. And I do want to point this out, because we talk about state sponsors of terrorism like Iran, like Qatar, and President Trump accepted this plane from Qatar. Now, remember, Trump in 2017 said Qatar must stop funding global terrorism. Qatar is terrible. Now he's president. Qatar is our great friend and ally, our partner in peace. We're going to take this awesome plane from them. Where do you think Boko Haram and other Islamic militant terrorist groups are getting their funding? Countries like Qatar and Iran. So, yes, the United States, Donald Trump, maybe you shouldn't just be all cozy with Qatar while trying to speak a strong game against Nigeria. I'm really glad you are bringing attention to this, that, Trump has said this is terrible, this genocide, but also he can't accept that plane from Qatar. They're helping to fund it.
It's a Chris and Amy show on 104.1 FM KMOX with you until 12 o'clock. Gas House Gang is coming up. It is Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji, on that. Mason Wynn joins us at 12:30. Baby, he is the Gold Glover named yesterday. We knew this was going to happen, didn't we? Yeah, we knew it. So we'll talk to Mason Wynn at 12:30. Amy will join the show to talk hockey. Bob Ramsey will join us to talk SLU basketball. They start their season tonight, and it's here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Wake up informed. Wake up empowered. Wake up to Total Information AM, your morning must.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey.
I'm
Megan Lynch.
This is Tom Ackerman. From local news to breaking headlines to weather, traffic, and the stories that matter most, we've got you covered before your first sip of coffee. Expert analysis, bright perspectives from the people you trust. Total Information AM. Your day starts here. Mornings beginning at 5 on 104.1 FM. KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Sunny and 59 degrees, baby. It's beautiful. Going to be a high of 63 today.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has brought cheers to their fans for decades with the best styles, cutting-edge tech, and good old family values. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken.
and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, will be hosting his Taxes and Retirement Seminar at the Twisted Tree on November 4th and 6th. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will not only cover the hurdles you'll face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now, you know that I'm pretty anti-Chat GPT, anti-AI. Not a fan. I've got my college ruled notebook, pen, pencil, mechanical pencil. I'm a fan of it all. However, I was talking with some friends the other day. Here's where I think Chat GPT is actually really, really good. And I know we've talked about this before, so you may think, yeah, this is why everybody uses it, Amy. Welcome to the party. You're late. And I am. But I'm not good with corporate America. It's not how my brain works. I don't like CYAs. I don't like busy work. I don't like having to fill out forms and go through certain processes. It just seems like a giant waste of time. My friends who are stuck in the corporate America busy work have used ChatGPT to condense like 30, 40, 50 hours of work that would be summarizing or building decks or saying, here's what we've done over this whole week. Can you give us a review? Using ChatGPT and getting 40, 50 hours done in like an hour and a half. It's kind of like sticking it to the man. If the man's going to make you do all this busy work and say, this is such a waste of time. Why do you need all this? Why do you need a deck? We just had a meeting about it. I'm kind of pro ChatGPT for cutting down on the busy work.
Well, as long as we can figure out a way that people can still be employed, use ChatGPT to cut out the busy work, but their own jobs are still necessary, then great. Because what concerns me is, companies throughout time have been trying to find ways to make it cheaper to operate, which I get. I mean, that's what they do.
Mhm.
You want to operate as inexpensively as possible. However, if we get to a point where we have too many industries, too many businesses that have found a way to completely eliminate human workforce, then we're going to be in some trouble.
Mhm.
And yes, we've always adapted as the years have gone by. The problem with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence is that it is happening so quickly. I don't know that industries will be able to adjust, or that the workforce of the country, the world really, will be able to adjust quickly enough to say, okay, well, this whole industry of people, of workers that we used to have is no longer necessary. So now we have to replace that with something different. I don't think that we're going to be able to do that fast enough.
Yeah, no.
And you're going to have so many people out of work over the next 5 to 10 years. And I don't know how we're going to find anything for them to do and make money.
Listen, if I could push a button and get rid of AI and ChatGPT and Claude, I would. I have no use for it. I don't want Gemini. I don't want it. I am backwards. I'm a Luddite. I get it. But I like, I think for the creative process, I also think for expanding knowledge, the ability to reason, whether it's deductive reasoning or logic, whatever it may be, and truly understand a subject, you've got to work through it and wrestle it through it with a book, with a notepad, with a pencil. We know the hand-brain connection is a big deal. If we've got it, get rid of the busy work, but don't get rid of the creativity. And it's really interesting. I was listening to a podcast from someone with the Washington Post, and they said one thing that AI has not been able to do is replicate humor and nuance and observational humor.
Right.
It can't do it. It hasn't yet. Nothing that AI has created is the nuanced observational humor of an irony or sarcasm of a Norm Macdonald or a Jerry Seinfeld or, Nate Bargatze. You name your comedian. It can't do it. And I like that that's so far uniquely human. It also has struggled with creative writing in the sense of it can pass all the AP tests except for the English test. So,
And it may never get there.
and I hope not, but I guess I've been poo-pooing AI and ChatGPT so much because I can't stand it. I don't have it. I've never used ChatGPT, that I thought I should at least acknowledge for people who are, if you're at a big business in marketing and you've got to waste 30 hours doing a review or making a deck,
right.
Go ahead and use it.
So speaking of artificial intelligence, are you on LinkedIn?
No.
You don't-
Well,
oh, you're not on LinkedIn.
I think someone signed me up for LinkedIn in 2012. It's a long
Okay, so
story.
you're not on it.
But I don't even know how to log in.
All right.
No.
Pajeski?
But my name's there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you use it.
I got to make sure all those potential employers are looking at me.
That's right.
What?
And
Are
seeing
you
it stolen
cheating on
away.
us?
What?
Hey, I don't blame him.
Why would you not want to work here?
Well, the air conditioning doesn't work for one, or the heat is on
The
full
heat
blast.
has been stuck on for 2 weeks. It's
Yeah,
90
what is going
degrees.
on? It's really anyway.
We'll get to it later.
So Microsoft owned LinkedIn. LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. If you didn't know that,
Okay.
they have starting today. They are going to be collecting user data to train their artificial intelligence models. So again, that is starting
Wait,
today. So
What?
yeah, so the AI like ChatGPT and Gemini, they're basically, in a lot of ways, it's not glorified Google, but it kind of is.
Mhm.
What they learn is what they can scour the internet to learn. That's how these models exist in the first place. So another area where they are going to be able to access is your LinkedIn account. The data is going to be shared with Microsoft and affiliate companies to improve targeted advertising as well. But they will not be able to have access to your private messages, in case you were wondering about that. So LinkedIn is like the networking website, the professional networking website. That is it. So they're going to use member data, including profile details and public posts, to enhance their AI-powered features on the platform. So, it's because artificial intelligence and these like ChatGPTs and systems like that did not have access to everything. They don't have access to like private stuff or your private accounts.
Yeah.
If you've got something public, it can see that. But now, at least in this way, if you were on LinkedIn, there's going to be more access to it granted. So,
all right.
It's a thing to keep in mind, and that's going to continue to happen. Stuff like this.
Would you like to do a hard left turn here?
I don't care.
Would you shoot a monkey if you had to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Couldn't wait.
Well,
I'll
Raj.
tell you what. Harambe'd be first in line.
He's already been shot.
Oh.
That's why he's famous.
Also not a monkey.
That's right. That's right. So I'm it's not a funny story. It's just there were the monkeys that were the makeup.
And by the way, I am kidding. I don't really want to shoot monkeys.
He doesn't want to kill a monkey. No. Except for the one in Outbreak. That's the
one that started the whole thing.
That's a bad monkey. But anyway, speaking of that, do you remember when the truck of monkeys fell over?
Yeah, last week I told you about it.
The monkey truck, it fell over and all the monkeys escaped in Mississippi. So this mom actually shot one of the monkeys and she said, I did what any other mother would do. And I am 105% on her side. So they were aggressive monkeys that escaped from an overturned truck. And in fact, word spread that some of the monkeys were believed to be carrying dangerous diseases.
Right.
Which is scary.
So it was not true. They did not have hepatitis C,
No.
COVID. They did not have.
They did not have any of that, but that's pretty terrifying.
Right.
And so her son was playing outside, or was outside. 16-year-old son ran into the house and said, Mom, I just saw one of the monkeys. So the 35-year-old mom, whose children range in age from 4 to 16, said she got out of bed, she grabbed her gun and her phone and went outside, calling the police while she goes outside. And the monkey was about 60 feet from her house. She saw the monkey. She shot the monkey. The monkey stood there and looked at her. So she shot him again, and then he fell over. And she said, I did what any mother would do, because she said, here's the thing. We live in, a neighborhood. There are neighbor kids.
Mm-hmm.
This monkey, and monkeys are very aggressive. And the whole community had been on high alert with how dangerous these monkeys are.
Yeah.
She said, well, yes, my kids were inside, but what if I didn't say anything or do anything? And then that monkey attacked a neighbor child. She goes, I could never live with that. I did what any mother would do. And she
Shot
said,
the monkey.
And shot the monkey.
Which, by the way, is my favorite Peter Gabriel song.
Shoot the monkey.
Shock the monkey.
Oh, shock the monkey.
No, it
The
should be shot.
The monkey probably was shocked. I've been shocked.
You shot me.
But the monkey was shocked. And it's not funny. I get it. But listen, everything is sad and everything is difficult. We get it. It's always 1% fun when there's monkeys involved. Probably.
Love the monkeys.
But it's not. It's sad.
Shot the monkey.
But I'm on the mom's side. The mom did the right thing, because that monkey could have attacked another kid, a toddler playing outside.
But it wasn't going to attack.
Yeah, the alert from the sheriff's office said they could attack.
Well, I mean, they could if you corner the monkey.
But a little kid wouldn't know. A little kid would go, "Oh, a monkey."
Oh, that's why you look, parent your kids. Tell them to stay away from the monkeys.
So the monkey came. They were rhesus monkeys at Tulane University.
And now that poor monkey is in pieces because he's been shot. I am so sorry. Is the story over?
How do you live with yourself?
I don't know. I don't feel good about it.
But you did it anyway?
What?
The rhesus pieces monkey?
We
found pieces of the rhesus monkey. That's
Yes.
what the cops said. Well, anyway, they were from the National Biomedical Research Center in New Orleans. And I will say this, that's scary. Because they could have, that's why they thought they might have had diseases.
Yep. You do not want to look. Escaped monkeys, bad, very, very bad. And
There's a
stay away from
picture
the
of the
monkeys.
authority dragging the monkey away, and he's holding him by his toes. He's upside down.
What? That's how they got him.
His
That's how they.
arms and head are dragging on the ground, and the guy is holding, the authority is holding the monkey by his feet.
Well, it's not here. You're not supposed to do that. Cover it up.
16 pounds. You want him to put him in a body bag?
Yeah, put the monkey in a body bag. Don't just walk around with it like that. Would you like that to happen to your body? Just being dragged around in public? You don't want that.
Oh, you got to put them in a bag. But they were known to be aggressive. The monkeys were aggressive.
Just stay away from the monkeys.
Anyway, I think the mom, it must have been hard, difficult decision for the mom, but she did what any mom would do, and I'm on her side. You have to protect the kids.
Must protect the children.
You know what? You've ruined everything.
I didn't do anything. I didn't kill the monkey. I did not shoot the monkey. Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji. Again, Gas House Gang coming up at 12. Mason Wynn. The Gold Glover will be with us at 12:30. And Missouri, you need to get ready because FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, is coming soon. December 1st. That is less than a month away. And new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game, and also live betting. You can get in on the action after the game is already started. It's all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy and fun to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it is coming soon to Missouri. FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app, live December 1st. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, kingmox.com/events.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Kevin Killeen is coming in here with a bulletin.
There, when disaster hit.
We have a major fire. It's in South City near Jefferson and Choteau.
Apparently the situation that we have here, it's a company that stores oxygen tanks. Tracks there, it's an industrial gas company.
It's shooting these 100-pound or 200-pound cylinders 2 and 3 blocks away.
John Larrabee is in Airborne 2 and has a report from up above.
This is just unbelievable. I'm seeing one explosion after the next.
The flames just keep erupting out of this thing.
I do hear a woofing sound in the background. Are those the explosions you're talking about?
That's what you're hearing. And I mean, it almost sounds like fireworks.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolexpressride.com. Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Oh, come on. Leave that poor monkey alone. Those monkeys didn't do anything wrong.
Well, they were probably shocked.
They were definitely shocked. The one was shocked to have been shot.
Yeah.
Texters into 314-436-7900. Definitely shoot the AIDS monkey. That's what this is. Well, they weren't AIDS monkeys. They didn't have AIDS. They didn't have AIDS or hepatitis C or COVID. They were fine. They just might have been a little aggressive. This message says, neither did you shoot the sheriff. No, we did not.
Oh, my
In fact,
gosh,
I have done
no.
nothing but defend
He's
our
done
sheriff.
nothing but defend the sheriff.
Yes. So thank you. This message from
And do not shoot the deputy. That's
And-
the second part.
Right.
You don't want to do either.
Well, no, you shot the sheriff, but not the deputy. That's the song.
Who sings that song?
Bob Marley. Ziggy Marley's dad. So from a 636, it says, I'm with that mom. I have 3 kids. Let a monkey get crazy around my kids. I'll drop kick a monkey.
Yeah, that's so true. That's a mom, though. Your mom's got to protect the kids. Because let me tell you what, if a monkey mom had 3 little baby monkeys and some human tried to hurt her baby monkeys, she'd drop kick the human person.
I need you to look up this part for me, Amy, because I don't
Jeez,
know.
Okay.
From a 636, somebody said the monkey's name was Spanky. Please tell me that's not true. Look it up.
Like the
Also-
Little Rascals? Isn't
Yes,
that his name?
Yes. Also, Harambe texted in and said, what the hell? I think it's because I said I would start with Harambe if we were shooting monkeys. But I would not do that because I liked Harambe. I feel bad for him and his family.
I don't think I'm going to Google this. Weird stuff is coming up.
Oh, Amy, don't really Google it.
Too late.
No. Do not. You did not Google Spanky the monkey, did you? Oh my God, Amy! Amy, no! Wasn't on a work computer, was it?
You didn't tell me it was bad.
No.
I thought because
dude.
what's the other Coco the monkey
Coco the monkey is a different.
and Harambe? I didn't know. I didn't. Why? You know what? These
Amy.
texters can just get
This
bent.
is why you don't have access any longer, because you just.
Get bent.
Wow.
Unbelievable. This is not the type of community effort we're looking for.
Yeah. Message says, I'm with you. I can't hurt any animal, but call authorities and let them handle it. That's just my opinion. And that is the right thing to do.
But
You
she
don't
was
shoot the monkey.
No, but she was afraid that because by the time the authorities got there, there were other kids outside. You can't risk that. You can't risk little toddlers.
So we're just firing into the crowd? We
There was
got
no crowd.
weapons?
It was one monkey.
Yeah,
that
but their kids
might
are
have
nearby.
that they believed had diseases at the time.
Was she a sharpshooter?
Yeah, she
If there-
was.
so there
She
were-
got him twice. 2 bullets, 1 monkey.
There were kids nearby and she's shooting at the monkey? Well,
I don't know. Is this Beavis and John said I've never watched a Beavis and Butthead.
yeah, John is watching on Facebook.
I don't understand. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yeah, do not. Okay.
Means you guys are really smart people.
Yes, that's what that means. Beavis and Butthead, great show. And Amy has never seen it.
Never seen it.
All
The
right.
most Beavis and Butthead I've seen is just T-shirts that Kevin Wheeler wears.
He does have a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt, at least one.
At least one. I think he has multiple.
I think he does too. Is he 55?
He is. He also has, if he's not wearing Beavis and Butthead T-shirts, he's wearing Star Wars T-shirts.
Yes, he is. He's pretty cute, Kevin. Kevin's like a,
He's getting less cute, though. He's pretty puffy now.
my God, Kevin Wheeler. We need
He's
to stop
roided up.
with the protein shakes. Enough with the
He's
protein
the only
shakes.
American that needs less protein.
Oh my God. We got to do something about him. He doesn't have a neck anymore. It's just shoulders straightened ahead.
He's swole.
He is over swole. Somebody needs to deflate him a little bit. Hey, let's do this tomorrow. If we haven't been fired yet, we'll do it tomorrow. 9 o'clock. Chris and Amy show is back. Anything you missed, like the podcast of the show, it's on the Odyssey app, iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcasts. What, Amy? Did we get a text?
No, I just didn't know. You got to tell me when not to Google things. I thought I was looking
didn't
up
think
real information.
I thought you knew.
No, I didn't know.
Oh my God, Amy, Mark scores. Amy's going to be back at 12:15 to talk Blues hockey with us on the Gas House Gang, which is about to start here soon. We'll have Bob Ramsey talking SLU basketball because they open the season tonight, and Gold Glover Mason Wynn on the show at 12:30. Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji. The Gas House Gang is next, but this show, the Chris and Amy Show, back tomorrow at 9 a.m. on 104.1 FM KMOX.
They were rhesus monkeys at Tulane University.
And now that poor monkey.